in my life. We all have. When I look back, I think I didn't like it at the time, but I wouldn't change a thing because I am what I am, not despite that, but to a large extent because of it.
Well,
if we experience these challenges from that perspective, rather than, oh my God, reptilian brain, then not only are we going to get through them with less pain and all the rest of it, we're actually going to think straight in a way that's going to allow us to get through them in a much more effective way.
Absolutely. And the point I was going to add is that so many people in these pyramidal power structures, and I'd like you to speak to this, they are just as imprisoned as lowly little minions of the system. And more I'm talking to people that think of themselves as the elite, and they're beginning to realize this is a prison. They're beginning to realize they're drinking sodium fluoride. Their kids are drinking it. They're beginning to realize that this system affects everybody. And they're beginning to realize that the television and the culture and the dumbing down is taking their children from them and destroying their own destiny. So I'd like you to speak to that. And then I want to bring up Rolling Stone magazine that I just happened to see laying there on the Commons table at the Emmis building where I was doing the Sunday radio show, syndicated show. I want to break this down, what Ray Kurzweil is saying. And we've got our vision of the future, liberty, freedom, dynamic human spirit, a new renaissance, to the power of 1 trillion versus their renaissance, a very dark renaissance in their own words. They just say that it's beautiful, but clearly it's quite ugly. But, I mean, can you speak to the point I just made?
Yeah, this is a point I make as often as I can because we go back to the sheep policing the herd, the sheep policing themselves. Because when you're talking about people in full awareness of this agenda and in full support of advancing it, you're talking about a dramatically few people compared with the global population. You're certainly not looking at enough to administer the institutions of control that we see across global society. So you need people in your target population to do the administration for you. This is why when you look at the pyramid structure of these organizations and these secret societies, whatever, you're looking at the few at the top in full awareness of what it's all about. And as you go further down the pyramid, you each step down knows less and less and less and less about the big picture, only their part in it. And so they've got right across the system people in dark suits and their like, who are administering this system and are welded to it in terms of their subordination to it. Or don't rock the boat. Or don't step out of line. Don't say anything.
They get to dominate those under them, and they get dominated from those above them. It's a psycho system.
Yes, it is. And what we need to do, this is a very important area, is to get those people to actually, again, look around them, take a deep breath, and just look at it again. And by connecting dots, you can let people who are in those systems realize how their dot connects with everyone else's, because stopping them realizing that is how the whole system works. So people make their daily contribution to a control system, not realizing that their dot is adding to other dots to make the control system. And it's so important that those people understand, whether they're in uniform or whether they're in dark suit professions, that their children are going to have to live in the world that they are helping fundamentally to introduce. All these legislation that is even written and administered around the world to build this police state is done by people who are themselves and their children and grandchildren are going to be subjected to that police state that they're helping to build. They're
and talk about a fraud
for their own families, and they need to start stepping out of that pyramid, because when they do, and refusing to play a part in it, because when they do, the pyramid collapses because they're holding it up.
Let me throw a point in here, David. Exactly. Let me throw a point in. I mean, to talk about how it's all a facade and all a matrix illusion, look at the world banking system out of fiat currency. with a handful of less than 15 families who rule the planet because they bought off governments to say that they issued the backing of the money. I mean, it's all just a fraud. And then out of that, what they're doing right now economically, trying to bankrupt things. So we have to depend on the state and have to be under their control. Looks like a desperate gamble.
Yeah, we have to say, no, we're not building our own prison anymore. And then something fantastic happens. We stop building our own prison, and the next thing is the prison isn't being built, and there is no prison. Look how many people work for the banking system and administer it and make it happen compared with the number of people that own it. It's fantastic.
David Icke, let's come back and talk about solutions. Then at the bottom of the hour, start taking phone calls. I'm also going to get into this. They say the elite are going to live forever in Rolling Stone. Oh, I thought I heard that in Endgame. We'll break it down. Infowars.com. What would the reptilian brain do? It knows that if it wipes out and kills all its competition, commits genocide, which we see ancient cultures doing to their neighbors over and over again, if you kill everybody, if you come in to the promised land, or you're the Aztecs, you come into a Mayan area and you kill everybody, or you're the Nazis, you're going to go around the world and take over, have an administrative system, have carbon taxes. The Nazis proposed similar taxes. And then have one-child policies, forced inoculations, soft kill. Then you kill everybody except your people, then you win. That's the reptilian brain. But, of course, then that idea continues, and the Nazis would have gone on forever basically killing each other, just like the priest class were doing in Israel. Whenever they didn't have some new enemy to fight, they started pressing the tribes under them. This is just what human beings do over and over again. And here is Rolling Stone, and you open this up. I should have put a bookmark in here. And it's Ray Kurzweil. This is exactly what I said in Endgame from his writings and the UN's writings and the Club of Rome's writings and the World Transhumanist Society and all the big billionaire tech owners. They go to big meetings and I mean, it's everywhere. When man and machine merge, and it says, meet Ray Kurzweil, prophet of the techno rapture. He's made billions of dollars, invented a bunch of computer systems. By 2045, he really says 2020. Computers will surpass us in intelligence. The universe itself will become conscious, and humans will live forever. But when you actually read what Kurzweil says and what all the rest say, they say the elite are going to kill off the majority of us. They're going to merge with the silicon system that they call rational. It's the reptilian brain. Logic. They say it's logic that I kill all of you and then I win. They revel in mathematical equations, but really it's just cold-blooded wickedness. They would say there is no such thing as wicked. I am beyond good and evil. I'm going to kill you. Now, this article doesn't get into all of that. It gets into some of it. Bill Joy's Why the Future Doesn't Need Us does. But it gets into all the things Kurzweil invented and all the things he did. Molecular robots will spread through the tiniest recesses of all matter. Kurzweil predicts turning rocks into trees and living computers. We won't experience 100 years of progress. In the 21st century, it will be more like 20,000 years of progress. And he just says, oh, you won't take brain chips? It won't matter. The nanotech will instantly take you over. So they're saying resistance is futile. You don't have a choice. We are the final revolution. And then they put it in a liberal, sicky-feely packaging. What say you to this? Because when I read the real globalist documents, they say they're going to kill the majority of us because we don't deserve the life extension technology, and that if they can just be made to live to be 140 or so, people that are like 70 now, that then they'll have eternal lives as nanotech beings that will send their consciousness out as spores on the solar wind. I'm not saying this. They're saying it, and they call us nuts, David Icke. This is what the world elite believe. This is their religion. What is this?
Well, it's just a tantamount to the insanity that lies behind all that's happening. See, cleverness and wisdom are not the same thing, and in fact, cleverness without wisdom is the most destructive force on earth. And they are, on a mind level, clever, but they are not wise, and that's why they're so destructive and devastatingly destructive in their potential to wreak havoc in even greater levels and amounts than they have up to this point. They're basically insane. They do not have the ability to connect through empathy, through consciousness, through any form of what we would call human connection, and therefore